I'm Rick Barbosa, Distribution Account Manager. Thank you for joining us today. We'll be joined by Jimmy Vaughan, Partner Technical Specialist with Microsoft, Olly Henderson, Microsoft Alliance Manager for Logitech, and Paul Barnas, Solution Sales Executive with Ingram Micro. On our previous episodes, we talked about what is Teams Rooms, and we introduced you to some Logitech Microsoft-certified products. Today, we're going to talk about Microsoft Teams Flow, and really what does it mean to integrate Microsoft Teams and how that improves productivity and collaboration amongst the associates. And why don't we start, Jimmy? I'm going to turn this over to you, and you can kick us off. Thank you.
Thanks, Rick. Yeah, really the explosiveness of Teams is really what's driving so much coordination and collaboration in the industry right now. As we saw when the pandemic hit and everybody went remote, a lot of the world who were doing 3 and 5 year studies of Teams itself saw that it didn't fall down. And as we move into the shared spaces, and what we've been talking about, Olly and Paul, is sort of the shared spaces and Teams rooms themselves. And that's where I think that customers who have adopted Teams during this time period really have to look at when they get back to the office, how are they going to still enable their users to actually have that ease of use. We all know conference rooms are hard, as we've talked about in some of the previous episodes, and some technology can take 10 to 12 minutes to actually start a meeting. But as everybody sort of found out when they first came to Teams itself, joining a meeting is no longer complicated dial strings. It's not PIN codes. It's not all these things that used to take the 10 and 12 minutes to join. It's a single touch join experience that you walk into a room. You're met with a familiar interface. And this is where, Olly, we're going to get into story time, Olly and Paul, about this is a day in the life and really how Teams sort of enables you to take that personal aspect of what you've been working on for the past year, maybe 18 months, and now move it into the shared space and not have the barriers of people that were encountering technology that they weren't familiar with.
Yeah, 100%, Jimmy. You know, I agree wholeheartedly with everything that you've said. And I think it was almost with the pandemic, and we're now very, I say post-pandemic, but our workflow is post-pandemic. With the pandemic, it became clear that Teams almost became like a natural selection. Organizations had their hands forced by people working remotely. They had to start working remotely, and everyone went away and went, hey, this is great. It stands up and it's easy to use. And people became so familiar with such a natural workflow from home of, oh, there's my calendar in Teams, here's all my meetings, join. Granted, on the desktop, you're probably doing that with a mouse, but how do we get that same experience when we come back into the workplace or back into a hybrid space, and we're looking to have that same simplicity of joining? Well, One Touch Join gives us that. So on the Logitech Tap product, the controller, as you walk into a room, you know, your meeting is 10 a.m. in the morning, you probably go into your meeting room at 9:55, and you'll see that one button to join sat on the desktop. So that is allowing people to have that level of simplicity. As Jimmy said, no complex dial strings or anything. You hit that button, you're into the meeting. Everyone remotely joins and your meeting is up and running. I think what is great and something that Microsoft has allowed us to do is take that one-touch join feature, which is critical to enterprise organizations. And Jimmy, they've managed to allow us to use that with other leading platforms that a lot of other organizations use, because we've all found ourselves in that difficult position whereby, great, so we're a team shop. Fantastic. When we have all our internal meetings, it's great. We have our one button to join, we touch that. What happens if we're working with an outside marketing company? What happens when we're working with an outside law firm that is, say, for example, a Webex or a Zoom store? You know, how do we control that? And Jimmy, tell us how it's being done.
Yeah, it's a technology that actually Microsoft pioneered. It's called Direct Guest Join. And what we do with Direct Guest Join is we work with the engineering teams of that platform and that technology. So if it's a Zoom meeting that you're going to join on a Microsoft Teams room, you're actually joining a co-collaborative solution between Microsoft engineering and Zoom engineering to make sure that that single touch join actually works and everything sort of is in the realm of what that platform uses. Now, I'm a big fan, Olly, as I said, of the Teams house. If you are a Teams house and you think about this, yeah, I'm going to be able to join 95% of my meetings without a problem. but there's always that one join solution where you have an outside platform that comes into play, and whether that's Cisco Webex or Zoom, and we just recently announced BlueJeans and GoToMeeting on this technology as well. Whether any of those platforms come into play, it's again walking into that room and having that single touch join experience, so I don't have to worry about technology. And Paul, one of the great things about Ingram Micro is you guys are helping everybody transition to Teams. You guys have these services so that if you've adopted Teams on the desktop and you're going back to the office, the services that you guys provide that encompasses all of this really makes it seamless for a user to get their shared spaces into this world.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, that's like the majority of the conversations that we're having with our partners out there today. That is the biggest question. So, some of them didn't settle on one platform when they left in a rush at the beginning of the pandemic. Now they're coming back. Now they have to standardize. And those features with the one-touch join, making that familiar experience the same in every room, along with that third-party join, just makes it so much easier to train them and get them into a full Teams room shop.
Yeah, without any shadow of a doubt, I think possibly the most expansive conversations we have with clients and end users is direct guest join. I think it's the one feature, Jimmy, that excites people the most because, we do live in a complicated world and it's about making life easy. You should be easy to do business with. Your organization should be simple to do business with at all levels, and that includes your meetings. So if you're able to host an outside meeting, all the better. And being able to do that without having another external piece of hardware, another plugin, keeping things native all the way through the series. We've used the term native, keeping everything within that Teams environment just gives your users that security, that confidence that everything is going to look the same, feel the same, regardless of whatever rooms they're going to. So all of the Logitech products, whether it's Rally Bar Mini, Meetup, whichever endpoint you have at the far end of the room, if you've got tap in front of you, you can use the direct guest join feature. And all of that feeds back to one button to join. So whether it's Zoom, Webex, GoToMeeting, BlueJeans is the brand new boy on the block, or Teams, you'll get the little logo in the top corner to make sure you're clear which type of meeting it is that you're joining, and the join button. That takes me nicely onto another way to join meetings, which again, in this, slightly different world in which we live in, this hybrid world that we live in, a lot of people are very understandably conscious about touching shared items or shared devices. So we've got something called proximity join that Microsoft has developed, and I'll let Jimmy expand on that. But in essence, what it allows you to do is take your personal device or your laptop and utilize the beautiful Teams room, meeting room with, say, the Rally Bar and all the features that has, but you can initiate the meeting from your personal device. Jimmy, can you tell us a bit more about proximity join?
Sure. So I'll tell it actually through a story, and we'll go through a day in the life and a common scenario that a lot of people have. So think about it. You're driving into work and you're on a Teams call and you walk into the office, right? But you're on your mobile device. You're on the mobile platform. Well, what usually happens when I get to the office? Well, I might have a couple other people that I want to bring into a conference room, and I want to be able to continue that collaborative experience inside of the shared space. What would traditionally happen prior to the technology that we have at Proximity Join would be somebody would say, oh, call me back at this room, where I'd say, I'll call you back and we'll dial you in and we'll do this. And all of this technology had to happen, again, making it difficult. But since you're on Teams on your mobile device already and you're walking into a shared space, through BTLE, which stands for Bluetooth Low Energy, which means that there's a Bluetooth beacon that's happening out of the Teams room itself. Once I walk into that room, my mobile device knows that I'm in a Teams room. And what happens on the screen is it says, do you want to transfer this call to the Teams room itself? I can hit a button on my mobile device. There's nothing else that I need to do. And now that shared space and the room system itself is now in that call, and my phone drops, thus transferring the call to that shared space so that others can join in. Again, making it easy and making it go from your personal device to the shared space. There's also other things we can do with Proximity Join as well. Again, it knows that you're inside of the room, and Olly, you spoke to it. Some people don't want to use those shared devices. Well, what if I could do things like raise the volume, or turn the camera, or switch the camera to a different view through my mobile device itself? But we can now, through that proximity join technology of the Bluetooth Low Energy, there's another aspect that we have called Room Remote. And Room Remote allows somebody to actually take control of that room in the limited functions of volume or camera functionality and use their mobile device to actually control that room. So you can see that, again, going from your personal devices in teams that so many have adopted over this time period, going from your personal devices to your shared spaces, we're trying to remove that technical barrier for these meetings and make everything very, very simple again. And again, it goes towards storytelling. If you can tell a story about how things used to work and we make things easier, I think a lot of people will see this adoption rate go up.
It makes it 100% relatable, Jimmy. And, you know, I've said it once and I'll say it 1,000 times. It's what makes Teams the end-to-end platform. What makes Teams, you know, you can eat, sleep, and breathe in Teams. You can start a call at home, take it onto your phone, move into a meeting room once you've arrived at your destination, obviously taking into account all the safety and using hands-free. But, you know, you really can do that. I do that on a you know, weekly basis without any shadow of a doubt. And I think the combination of best-in-class technology provided by Logitech, the best-in-class platform that's provided by Microsoft, and the systems and programs that a distributor like Ingram Micro can give to you in terms of helping you work through your workflow. What is going to be the best way for you to end up in a full Teams environment? You know, Ingram have got so many services around that it helps you to refine your workflow. And that's what, you know, from my summary for this series that we've done, it's about a refined workflow. We all want to help you guys, between ourselves, Microsoft and Ingram, land in a perfect Teams environment. It's not easy, but don't worry. A lot of people are in the same space as you. A lot of people are feeling the same anxieties of, we've got legacy sit video environments. How do we get into Teams? Through Ingram, Microsoft, and Logi, we're able to really finesse that workflow and give you a best practice.
Yeah, everything I'm hearing is great. And ultimately what I'm hearing is enhanced user experience, right? So, and that's really what it comes down to. And, you know, for years I've been hearing about seamless mobility, and this is probably the closest I've heard that it's actually going to be seamless. I mean, I'm sure you guys have experienced the same thing. We're on a call, you need to leave, you're picking up your phone, you're dialing into that bridge, you're dropping off from the old one. It'd be nice not to have to do any of that and have it be so seamless. And you know, I think when we also look at Microsoft Teams, we tend to lead with the video conferencing, right? But there's so much more to it. And I think I know I don't have the stats right. You know, there's 106 functions, but most users only maybe use 6 of those, right? So there's so much on the collaboration side from the different channels, being able to share documentation. It's a great resource for everyone to be able to use if you adopt all the different uses of it. Well, thank you. I'd like to thank our panel, not just for this episode, but for the previous 2. I think we've done a great job in showing you what Microsoft Teams and Logitech solutions bring to the channel and ultimately enhancing the end user experience, and also how Ingram Micro helps bring it all together. So again, thank you for joining us. I hope you take the time to watch through our entire series. And for more information on how to learn more about Logitech and how Ingram Micro can help you, you can contact our Ingram Micro market development team at logitechteam@ingrammicro.com. Thank you.